Hi everyone, welcome to another All Our Doctors Lives, another live stream, another subject to go over. And today we are very glad because if you ever wondering about when should I start saving for my child's education, how to start saving, how to put money aside for him or for her, what college to pick, what career is best for him. Today is the day for answering all those questions. And for that, our topic today is child's education. Saving money now will avoid future debt. And today we have a very special guest, Lamont Johnson, one of the best financial coaches of New York. How are you, Lamont?
Doing great, Irvin. Thank you. Doing great.
Thank you so much for having time for us. How do you feel today about it?
Oh, my pleasure. I'm super excited. This is a subject that I wish all parents knew about. Irvin, imagine if your life got started with 6, 7 figures of money just waiting for you when you were an adult. Like, how would life look for you, right? So this is a subject that's near and dear to a lot of us. Super excited to be sharing this information with you.
Maybe do you have a lot of experience with parents struggling at the end of with because they didn't save money for the child education, huh?
Yeah, well, children are expensive, man. I got a 7-year-old. Like, she's talking to me about things that I never would have spent money on as a kid. Gadgets and equipment and building applications and all these new things that parents of the old times didn't even have to think about. So, it's real. Everything's real. You gotta have money in order to be able to do things in life. It's a resource, and we just want to help our kids do better, right? Every parent wants their children to do better generation after generation.
Yes, that's the purpose of life. And for that, you have a very special presentation that you want to share with us. Let's start with it, Lamont.
Awesome. So, how do you build wealthy children? And before I get started, I just want you to know this is information. I'm not here to tell you what's right, what's wrong. Everybody's situation is independent to them, right? So before you even think about putting money away, you want to think about what is your objective? What are you trying to accomplish, right? Because, Irvin, your needs are different from somebody else's needs.
Yes.
Your family's starting from a certain place, and other people are starting from another place. So when you think about like what your objective should be, if you look at the first slide, there's 3 stages of life that we want to think about when you're talking about planning for your children, right? All parents know that you're going to be responsible for more. You would like to be in your child's life financially for more than just school.
Yes.
Right? Before they get to school, you got expenses, right? When they get to school, you got expenses. If they get married, they come to you for help, right? When they get older, if you're still around, they still in your pocket. So why not think about these things before you get started, so you can have an idea of what you want to do, right?
Yes.
When you think about phase 1, how do we get a child set up to go and get educated? What should you consider when it comes to that process, right? It's not just books and tuition. You're talking about how they're going to eat while they're going to school. What other living expenses are they going to need? Are they going to stay in the same state? Are they going to stay in your house? Are they going to move out to go to school, right? And that's just phase 1. Most of them, when they come out of school, they want to start a family. Some kids don't even go to school anymore. We're not even going to talk about that. But wouldn't you want, as a parent, to be part of your children's life all the way throughout their life, right? When a person starts a family, you have a wedding. Depending on where your background is, it could be massive. It could be small. But we all know it's going to take money, right?
Let me tell you that my wedding will be massive. I have a lot of
It doesn't
family.
matter. I think every culture wants to do a massive, right, when it comes to the wedding. Right? And then you got starting a business, right? Wouldn't you want to help your child start a business? When you look at this country, business owners have the most success financially. So I don't know about you, Irvin, but my 7-year-old already wants to start a business at 7. So I know I gotta have money to help her with that, right?
Crazy thinking.
That is crazy, right? Most people don't even think about that young. But when you're talking about the next generation, they're sharper, they're faster, they have access to more information. So they're going to be doing things way ahead of probably most of us because the access to information they have, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be nice to help your child buy their first car, right? Or wouldn't it be nice for you to put some money aside for your child to be able to purchase a home? These are all things that we all want to be part of as parents, but a lot of times we don't know how to plan for this, right?
All right.
And then imagine if they retire, you could set your children up to retire the right way, right? To help them get that travel and that vacation they want, help them get freedom of time and be able to donate to charities and stuff, right?
Yes.
And then protecting the generation afterwards. Irving, are you thinking about your great-great-grandchildren?
No,
right? You see
not
it in
yet.
the movies, right? Not yet, nobody. Most people aren't, man, but some people are. And those that are thinking that legacy type mindset are the ones that usually do well, right? When you're thinking about it first, you can actually make a plan for it. So Irving, if you go to the next slide,
Got it.
we want to talk about inflation. This is important. One of the main things that could eat up your money.
One of the scariest moments.
You see this? Irving, look how much a new home cost back in the 70s.
I know.
What do you see there?
Yeah, they say saving money is now, it's very difficult because of inflation.
That's right. The value of your dollar continues to go down year after year. So if you're not thinking about that, when you're thinking about where can I save my money, where can I make my money grow, your money might not be valuable when you need it, right? When you think about how much a loaf of bread cost in 1970, I went to the supermarket recently, tried to buy a bag of oranges for $10, and the lady didn't want to give me any change. She didn't want to give me no change. I said, wait, a whole bag of oranges is $10? I said, look, give me a couple oranges. I just want some vitamin C.
What about gas prices? Gas prices. I used to get gas and get chips and Coke, and now forget about the chips and Coke, only gas.
Man, I had a friend tell me he put $100 of gas in his car the other day. Do you know what $100 is?
That's a lot.
When you're working for a living? That just doesn't make any sense. So we have to think about these things when you're talking about planning for the future, and understand that if your income today is barely making it for you, imagine 10 years from now. Right? We always got to think about how can we make more money. That's really the best way to beat inflation, is think about where your money's growing, but also think about how you can make more money so you can pay yourself more. Yes. Right? If you go to the next slide,
got it.
You want to talk to your children about money early. This is something that I don't know, depending on the culture.
Like your 7-year-old.
Exactly. So I'm already teaching her about profit and all these things that I was not taught, because my parents didn't know this stuff. One thing that we got to understand, Irving, is that financial literacy was not given to everyone up to recently, right? Recently, now there's more information out there. There's more resources out there. You can actually learn the language of money. And that's one thing that I want everybody to understand who can hear my voice today, is that a formal education is one thing. How to make money is one thing. But another education is financial literacy, which teaches us what to do with your money. We want to teach our kids. Our kids what to do with their money. Mm-hmm.
You can learn the language of money and then speak it, right?
That's it. I don't know, but my family, it was like you couldn't talk about money, especially not around no children. Right? It was like a cultural thing. I'm from New York City, 1980, Harlem, a lot of craziness going on in my neighborhood, but we definitely were not talking about money around children. Now we should, though. You see how the world is really, evolving. The economy keeps going up and down. So some simple things you can do is just buy some play money, right? Or buy some board games. There are a lot of great board games out there right now that the whole family can learn the language of what to do with money through having fun through a game, right? And then obviously giving your children some money and showing them how to be responsible with it, right? Yes. I had a business partner of mine, a good friend of mine. His son broke his tablet, right? All the kids now, they have tablets. When I was little, we had paper and pen, but that's different. So instead of allowing the son to get another tablet, My friend tells his son, hey, let's use your money, right? So they went on the internet, they start pricing the tablets. Let me tell you, the son hasn't asked for a tablet since. He was like, oh no, that's a lot of money. Like, I'm not spending that. You see the awareness super early. Like, these are things that we can do to increase the strength of our children's awareness and being responsible with the money you have.
Make them aware of how much the things cost.
Exactly. I'm telling you that conversation has not come back up again once they said we were going to use your money. Okay, so think about how that can affect so many families across the world. If you go to the next slide.
Got it.
A lot of parents don't know that you can start building your child's credit up early, right? Everybody knows that credit is big, right? Credit is almost, I hate to say it, but credit is almost more important than your name, right? And when it comes to purchasing things, like they go, okay, your name is great, let me see your credit. That's usually like the 1 and 2 questions that banks, anybody who's going to talk to you about money wants to think about or talk about, right? But if you are going to establish your children's credit, you have to make sure that you're handling the credit the right way.
Yes.
Okay, don't go messing up your child's name before they get a chance. This is for responsible people only. You just call the different card carriers and ask them to be added onto your card so now you can build their credit. Irvin, could you imagine if you had immaculate credit coming out of school, out the gate?
No,
what would life look like?
Yeah.
Right? You have more access to resources. Things be a lot different. So think about that. If you're a person who's already responsible, if you're parents that are already responsible with your credit, you may be able to build your child's credit early. And this is a big deal because all we want to do is give children a good start.
Yes.
Right? Get them off to a good start. And that's what really it's about. So if you go to the next slide.
Got it.
It doesn't matter if you're saving for children or for yourself. It doesn't matter the type of account that it is. There's only 3 ways that the money works inside of it. There's only 3 ways that the money grows inside of it. And the first way is fixed. And all that means is that if you put your money in a fixed account, this is a savings account, a CD, right? Usually with the banks, the interest rate stays the same. It stays the same. So
it's like saving money by yourself.
That's right. That's right. You basically go put money in the bank. They give you a fixed interest rate. Other programs give you a fixed interest rate. It doesn't matter if the stock market goes up, goes down. You get the same interest every year.
Got it.
The only area of concern with that is that the cost of living keeps going up. So if your money is not going up with the cost of living, you're not making any money in those accounts. So you got to be very careful.
And it's harder to be saving the same amount of money every month.
That's correct. That's something else, right? To be saving the same amount of money. For that, you want to talk about making more money.
Yes.
Right? Everybody, most people right now are focused on one stream of income. That's no longer possible. Right? When you think about the cost of living going up, one stream of income is very hard to put money away. So I advise everyone to think about some gifts that they have so that they can go and start something on the side. I tell people, look, I don't care if you're selling cookies out of your house. You need some extra income that you can control so that you can save more, right? Yes. When you think about the second place to save, it's called variable accounts. These are accounts that are tied to the stock market. Right? When the stock market goes up, you make money, but what happens when that market comes down?
You lose money.
You lose money, right? I haven't met a human being on earth that appreciates losing money, right? So just understand, if you put your money in a variable account, that's what happens. It could go up, it could go down. But what most people don't understand is that there's something called an index account.
An index account,
that's very different, right? You see how it grows like a staircase?
Yes.
When the stock market goes up, you can make money, but when the stock market comes down, your money gets locked in at the highest point. This is big. This is big. This is where all the wealthy people really put a lot of their money. I'm not saying the other two are bad, but you should have a mix in your portfolio, especially for your children.
Especially when you
How
talk
many
about
people
your
you think need to know that about that last one?
Yes. It looks. I think many people haven't heard about that type of account.
it used to be only for wealthy people. Now it's accessible to the masses, right? And understanding how it works, sitting down with a professional like myself is key, because we can customize something based on your needs.
Got it.
Right? It's all about is it doing the job you want it to do. Right? If the tool does not do the job, then the tool doesn't work for you. Right? So I want you to think about where your money is at today. I want you to think about where your children's money is growing today, and how is the money growing inside of it? Is it working for you? Because if it's not, then it's time to have a conversation.
Yes.
Okay? We go to the next slide.
Got it.
So these are what you want to consider. These are the different situations or the different elements that you want to consider when it comes to saving for your children. Right? The first one is control, which is big. Many of the savings programs for children give up control to the parent at a certain age. Think about it. Some people are still living with their parents in their 50s, right? Imagine you giving a kid at 18 that's not ready for it.
I know.
So who controls the changes? Who controls the choices that happen in the account? And then liquidity, when you're thinking about when can you touch the money? We all know that life happens, emergencies happen, expenses come out of nowhere. Some accounts don't let you touch the money right away.
Okay.
Is that important to you, right? You need to think about that. And then you talk about safety, right? I showed you the variable account. Some people are gambling right now and they don't like to lose money, right? Some people aren't making enough money in a fixed account. Who are you when it comes to risk, right? What's important to you? Are you okay with losing money? Do you not want to lose any money? Do you want to mix? So that's what safety and risk is about, right? And then do you have any guarantees in the program that you have your money saving in? That's a big deal, right? Are there any guarantees that allow the money to grow? Are there any guarantees that can create income for you? These are some things you want to consider. Transferring the account, right? If your child doesn't use the money, how does it get transferred? Is it generational? What impacts happen to that? And then the last one, but never the least, where you growing your money, you want to think about how Uncle Sam plays into the picture.
Oh,
right?
God,
Are you getting taxed now? Yeah. He's always around. It's just understanding how the rules work. Once you understand how the rules work, everything changes in your favor. And that's why being financially literate is very important. So are you getting taxed now, taxed later, or you got your money growing somewhere where it'll never get taxed?
So I got a question about transferability.
Yeah.
For example, let's say my child decides to do not study, or doesn't go to a university or college, or picks a career that it's actually cheaper than I expected. What happens to that money?
It depends on where you have it.
Okay.
So that's something that you want to think about, right? Before you put your money in an account that's only going to allow you to do certain things, you want to look and see if there's other options. And these are some things that many don't consider, and they end up getting put in an account or saving inside of an account that has a lot of restrictions. And now that money is stuck, or that money is going to get taxed. And we're going to go over how most of the accounts work, just so you could get a better understanding of what options are out there, and then hopefully you can make a better decision for yourself. But that's a great question.
Got it.
Next slide, please.
Got it.
So the first way to save for your children, these are the most popular, are called custodial accounts. Why are they called custodial accounts? Because the parents are the ones running the show. They're the ones who have authorization within the program. Two popular ones are called UTMAs and UGMAs. They both were created because of laws that passed. But what you should know is that one allows you to put certain assets inside, right? Like real estate, intellectual property, and works of art. The other one just allows you to put financial tools inside of it, like stocks, cash, securities, and insurance. So depending on what makes sense to you, these are two options that can be created for your child, and you could be the custodian of that account. Perfect. So if we go to the next slide.
Got it.
Right? So things to consider when it comes to custodial accounts, right? Different age requirements by different institutions, meaning that some accounts allow the children to take control at 18. Others allow the children to take control at age 21. Is this the right thing to do? These are questions you want to ask yourself before putting money in these accounts.
Yes.
Right? You can use these accounts, though, to avoid estate taxes and gift taxes.
You're the
right?
one
So
that
you can
knows
actually
best your child.
That's right. You can actually put $15,000 into this program. If you're married, you can put up to $30,000. Right? How you use it strategically to bring down your taxes. But remember, you are the person that designs the account, but the money belongs to your child.
Got it.
The money's not yours. So you're funding it. You're making decisions on it until they're 18 or whatever the state is that you open it, and then that's their money.
Yes.
Right? So I don't know about you, Irvin, but at 18, I was not ready to handle a lot of money.
Me neither.
Not. Yeah, I was too
spending
busy
in a week.
somewhere trying to find myself, right? So these are things to consider if you're going to open up a custodial account.
Yes.
If you go to the next slide.
Got it.
Right? These are some things that you can put within a custodial account, right? So you could set up you could set one up in the form of a savings or a CD. You could set one up as a traditional Roth IRA, right? And the different elements to it. A savings or a CD is a fixed account, right? The interest is usually the same. The only catch is that it doesn't outpace inflation.
Oh my God.
Right? Typically, CDs give you very low
Yes.
interest. Think about the bank right now. If you got money in a savings account, how much interest are you earning? Probably not a lot.
Nah.
Right? But when you go to buy a gallon of milk or a gallon of gas,
Yes.
that's pretty high. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that before you think about saving. IRAs, typically you can't touch them until age 60. So remember when I spoke to you earlier about liquidity,
Yes.
meaning that if an emergency happens, you might not be able to access these monies without getting penalized.
All right.
Right? Also, most of them are typically exposed to the stock market. So how
Very
comfortable are
risky.
you losing money?
Yeah.
Very risky, right? The market goes up one day, goes down the next. 2008, 40% of the market went down. So if you had $100,000, that's crazy, brother. If you had $1 million in your account, $400,000 leaving in one day,
Yeah.
how would you feel?
And nowadays that the market
Crazy.
changes so fast and so inconsistent.
It's very hard to plan. It's very hard to plan with those inconsistencies.
Yeah.
So you want to think about that, right? Mutual funds, stock, bonds, also risky. Capital gains tax. You want to think about these things before you put your money somewhere. You can also apply what's called active money management, which is awesome because most people don't have the time to watch the stock market every day. Erwin, I don't know about you, but I got things to do, right? Most parents work. Most parents don't have time to be sitting there trading day in and day out. If you do, God bless you. But active money management allows a professional to manage your child's portfolio for you. So it might make good sense to look into that if you're talking about using these accounts and having someone else take the risk, right, of moving it for you. Okay. If you go to the next slide.
529 plan, the big account.
Everybody's favorite, right? Because this is what we're taught. We're taught when you have a baby, set up a 529 plan, right? This plan has been around for quite some time. What you want to know that the 529 plan, the primary reason it exists is to pay for educational expenses related to college. Okay? Educational expenses, right? So at the end of the day, what are those, right? The apprenticeship costs, student loan repayments. So if you go to the next slide, we're going to talk about the 529 slide. The 529 plan does not cover these things here. So think about that. If your child's going to school off campus, it's not covered. If your child needs a tablet to go to school, smartphone, not covered. Traveling, not covered. Entertainment, not covered. Gym membership, not covered. Cost of car or repair, not covered. Now, who do you think this falls on if your child's not financially ready to handle these expenses?
For someone staying at home, starting.
That's right.
A lot of
That's
people
right.
choose the 529 account because they were told by their neighbor, they were told by a member family that there's an account to go, but it doesn't suit everyone.
It's so true, Irvin. Most people learn money from people,
Hmm.
right? And chances are those people aren't even licensed by the state to give you information, right? I can tell you personally that my life changed when I sat down with a professional. It's a big difference. They're thinking about things that I wasn't even paying attention to, right? To the point where I said, I got to get in this business because I know a lot of people that can use this type of knowledge.
Yes.
And it really is just passing knowledge. Now, if you knew all these things were not covered, but your children will be knocking on your door because their car broke down while they're in school, and you will be giving them money if you have it, is this a good decision for you? I don't know. This is something for you to consider, right? So if we go to the next slide.
Got it.
If we go to the next slide, right, these are the benefits of the program. It's an income tax reduction in 30 states. So yes, you put money into a 529 plan, you can reduce your taxes today. Okay. Tax-free growth and withdrawals. So on the qualified expenses, right, the expenses that the plan covers, you can actually access the money, right? No problem for that, right?
Okay.
No limit on high limit contributions. So you can put money in as much as you like. The money's portable. You can give it from state to state. It moves with you.
I get
Now-
that. That's a big benefit, huh? That most of other accounts don't have.
Right. So this one here, you can think about it in terms of it can go with you when you leave a state. However, transferring it to, let's say, like you mentioned earlier, Irvin, your child does not go to school. Transferring it is where you got to be smart, right? Because it can only be used for school.
Oh,
So if
my
it's
God.
a sibling or an immediate relative, they got to be using that money for school.
That's
Okay, does that make sense?
A big.
Everybody has to be going to. If you're not going to school, this is not the plan for you, right?
If your child
It
doesn't
just
want to go to
doesn't make
school,
any-
go out and find someone.
Exactly, you got to find someone, which is also another challenge. But if we go to the next slide,
Perfect.
right, these are the drawbacks of the program. If the money is not used for school, you get penalized plus taxation. It basically treat the money like a 401k. So if you got a 401k and you touch the money
yeah.
early, before age 60, you get a 10% penalty in taxes.
If you look
So
at
this
it
is why
that
a lot
way,
of-
it's fair because it's like paying taxes to the government.
You can lose money, right?
Yes.
So here you are, you saved all this money, Irvin, throughout your child's life, and now when you go to use it, an expense may not be a qualified expense. Here comes, it could be 40%, 30% out of your account, right? Also, this gets reported for student aid, right? So if your child's looking to get financial assistance for school, you have to report what's in your 529 plan. That could qualify or disqualify them from that program. Okay, the investment options are limited. It's limited by the state and the entity offering the plan. So unlike the UPMAs and the other accounts, the custodial accounts, these have limited options for you to be able to save money. And then transfer restrictions, like we mentioned. It has to be someone that's a sibling, a parent, a first cousin, right? A qualified person has to be able to use the money for school, and you get one rollover within a 12-month period.
That's pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many people need to know this before they start saving in here, right?
Yeah.
These are the restrictions. This is how it works, right? So if you go to the next slide,
Got it.
this program is a program that we set up a lot for our parents, and it's called the $1 Million Baby Plan,
I
right?
like
Think
the name
about
of
it. You have come on, Irvin. Think about it. What would life look like right now if your parents set you up to be a millionaire, man?
Pretty nice to me.
Right? That smile be on all day. You wouldn't have a bad day in the world, right? At least not a money problem, that's for sure, right? So what most people need to know is that this program is built in the cash value of a life insurance program, right? So when you talk about permanent life insurance, every time you contribute to permanent life insurance, a percentage goes to the insurance and the other percentage goes into savings, right? So you need to know that savings is something that's been around since the 1800s. You can set up one of these programs for a child 15 days after they're born, right? And it produces stable returns regardless of market volatility. So when if you go to the next slide, Irvin.
Perfect.
Here are the benefits. And as you can see, the list is quite lengthy, but
quite
$1 million baby program, right? A lot of benefits. Think about if you had $1 million saved here and you could still get financial aid because this doesn't get reported.
That sounds pretty good.
Right? You're talking about tax-free access to your money. Right?
Tax-free.
You could use the money for whatever reason. The parents or the guardians, they can open it and they can transfer it to the child when they're ready. So if you're 30 years old and you're still not ready, your parents can have this thing under their control still and use the money for what they need to use. So as a parent, you get more control, right? Your child will be permanently covered. When you talk about life insurance, Irving, it's the easiest way to create generational wealth. Once a parent takes out life insurance on the child, boom, your grandkids are safe financially, right? And then if they do it, the next generation. And this is how you create legacy income for your family, right? It's something that can be used for whatever reason. The money doesn't have to be used just for education.
Let me tell you, Lamont, this is the plan that I like so far.
Yep. This is it so far? This is the one you like?
Well, for me, it's just for me, for my child.
Which is great, you know. It's not for everybody, but it's an option, right? If you go to the next slide, this is just an example of something we set up for one of our clients, right? Parents putting away $250,000 a month. The child got covered for $164,000 of life insurance. If you're talking about the first stage of life, getting ready to set up your child for education, paying off those loans and all of those things, when you look at the contribution on the left-hand side, at age 15, the parent will have put in $45,000 into the program, just putting away, less than a couple of dollars every week. Right?
Sounds good, yeah.
At that point, the policy is allowing you to take out up to $54,000. Right?
Wow.
So you put 45 in, it grew to 54. You can use this to go to school.
Yes.
You could use this for something else, right? And if any expenses happen before them going to school, now you as a parent have a bucket of money to tap into.
Yes. Without
having penalties, without having a reason, right? And then when you talk about the protection on your family's income for generations, every year that the parent puts money into this program, the death benefit increases. So if God forbid your child passes, the beneficiary receives 6 figures tax-free. Okay, and that's just in stage 1, Irvin. If you go to the next slide, in stage 2, right, this is when your kid's out of school, 22, 25, 29, they're starting a family, you want to be a great parent, you want to be there for them. You didn't put $1 into the program after what I showed you before, that $45,000, and then the program continued to grow. When you look at policy income, it just continues to grow. It's like setting up a bank for yourself. You borrow from this bank and you pay your own bank back. How many people, Irvin, you believe need to become their own bank and stop putting money in the bank where the interest rate is super low?
Hey, trust me, I know a lot of people that need that.
Right? Think about it. Think about if I could show you how to turn 45,000 into 453,000.
Yes.
Right? This is where the top percentile of people put most of their money, because it gives you the most guarantees. Right? Wealthy people like to make a lot of what? money,
Money.
but they don't like to lose a lot, and they don't like to pay a lot in taxes. This is the program that actually allows you to have that type of security. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, and it helps build the shape of the future of my child.
It's a legacy play, Irwin.
Yes.
Legacy, right?
Legacy.
And you're in control until your child, is mature enough to take it over. But this also, calls for proper estate planning, right? If God forbid you're not here, you should have a will or a trust that says what happens to these money, so that all of this saving and hard work that you did doesn't go for none, right? If your child's not responsible enough. So if you go to the next slide, Irving.
An example.
Yeah, this is stage 3, right? Same
Yes.
program, right? You're looking at your child's not ready to retire, but you helped them. Look at age 65. You never put another dollar into the program. How much do you see there, Irving?
65 on the death benefit or the policy income?
Policy income. That's your money.
Oh my God, that's more than 1 million.
That's correct. That's correct. What will your life look like if at retirement, in addition to what you were doing to make money, your parents had $1 million tax-free for you?
No, man, that's a dream. All day in the beach, sun and sand, cocktails,
Exactly, right? Life be different, right?
Yes.
And this is what we want to educate people on. There's not a parent on earth that wants their child to struggle, right? There's not a parent on earth. And we know for a fact that if our lives were set up in a way where we didn't have to make life decisions based on income, we could be way more creative.
Yeah, thinking over the
right?
That's
Exactly.
very clever, because necessity makes you think of other things that used to.
Exactly. So many people are born, everybody's born with gifts. Everybody has a gift. I believe that for a fact. But a lot of us can't let that gift out because we worrying about where our next meal is coming from.
That's pretty
But
sad.
imagine if all of our communities set up a plan like this for their child. And it doesn't even have to be this much. It can be customized just to get you started so that when the child makes money, they can actually contribute to it.
Yes.
Right? But you're talking about changing the face of a lot of people that really need this type of tool, right? Because it gives them the flexibility, the creativity. It keeps Uncle Sam off your back if you use it the right way.
Yes.
Right? So, if you go to the next slide, Irving,
Got it.
now you're talking about your great-grandkids, your grandkids. I don't know if you've seen those movies, Irving, where they have like the portrait of two people on the wall, and everybody that comes in the house like, yeah, that's my great-great-grandfather Irving. He set us up. Right? But if I ask many people today, hey man, who's your great-great-great-grandfather or great-grandmother? They'd be like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Why you think they don't know? Because they didn't leave them nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine if your great-great-great-grandparents left you with 7 figures.
I have
You
it
would
on
make a
my
t-shirt.
wall.
On your wall, some communities get a tattoo, right? It'd be somewhere close.
Yeah.
Right, you would keep it somewhere close, and this is what it's about, Irvin. It's teaching our communities how to create a legacy, right? Not having to put your money in places that don't keep the money from you. How can you set it up in a way where it makes sense that your entire family's last name changes forever? And obviously, there's a lot of options out there, a lot of things to consider. I'm not going to sit here and tell you any program is perfect. They all have their ups and downs, but at least when you're looking at this one here, it has a lot of control when it comes to what you can do.
Yes.
As opposed to what you saw earlier.
Yes.
So, with that being said, Irvin, this is all we want people to think about. If we go to the next slide, understand that everybody's different.
Yes, that's very important. That's something that you show us today.
Everybody's different. So, identify what your goals are. Meet with a professional. I strongly suggest that everyone who's paying attention to this live today gets a financial consultation. And it's complimentary. Our firm sits down with families, on Zoom virtually, and we go over your needs. What is important to you financially? What are you trying to accomplish? Where are you right now? And then what steps you can take. Okay, and we do that 100% complimentary. If you go to the next slide,
got it.
Right, we want the parents to get in the game, man. You look at this. If you look at home plate, 58% of people don't have an emergency fund. That's more than half of the population. If an emergency happens, they're going into debt, or it's a problem.
It's like
it's a big problem.
Start over from the bottom,
right? Yeah, it's a challenge. When you talk about 74% of the population does not have a will, right? Our firm offers complimentary wills to all of our clients. If you come and get a financial needs analysis with our firm, we'll give you a complimentary will. What is a will? A will is a document that tells people how you want things to happen after you're here. Right? I've had family and friends, they couldn't even do anything to help the loved one that left because there wasn't nothing in writing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then the government,
I think most of
takes
that
all
is
your
because
stuff.
of the cliches that there are around that, around making a will, or, you know, but it has to be done.
Yeah.
To prevent.
But we're not taught this. This is not spoken in our communities, and I want you to know it's very important. If things are not in writing, the government can seize control of everything you work so hard to put together.
We don't want that.
We do not want that. We do not want that. And when you think about life insurance, right? 54% of people don't have any life insurance protection. That's more than half of the population. That's why you see GoFundMe making so much money. GoFundMe is not life insurance. It is basically you're asking people to help you because there was no preparation there. We want everybody to be prepared from now on, right?
All right.
And then saving for retirement. Half of the population doesn't have enough money to retire. So most people are going to have to continue to work unless they get serious about putting a few dollars away.
You
always
also
say pay yourself first.
Give coaches of how to put aside money for retirement and put aside money for child's education, right?
Correct. You have to. You ever been in an airplane when they say put your mask first?
Yes. Put yourself.
That's
and
exactly
then
what
others.
needs to happen. That's right. That's right. You put your mask on first, and then you can help someone else. So if your finances aren't in order, how are you going to help your child? Right? But that's why sitting with a professional helps you find ways to get around everything. Right? Like I said, it changed my life, and I'm definitely excited about, meeting with everybody who wants to get a complimentary analysis, because it's a game changer, man. It takes the guesswork out of planning. Okay? Now, if we go to the next slide, Irvin.
Got it.
This is what you want to do. These are some other tips, right? Look at your beneficiaries and all your documents. Make sure they're up to date, right? If you don't have somebody else, identify somebody else in charge. If God forbid you're not here, who's going to step up for your children? You need to think about that now. You shouldn't have your children shouldn't have to go to the control of the state or become a burden for somebody else because you didn't have a plan. Remember, the plan is more important than anything. If you don't have a will and a trust, create one. If you don't have long-term care for yourself, you need to start thinking about it, right? Because a lot of people had to move back in with their children because they didn't have money set aside for when their health is no longer favorable. Right? Think about it. Your senior years, if you got hurt, where are you getting a check from? And it's a big challenge. So if you go to the last slide.
Got it.
This is how you can get in contact with me. I put a survey up. Just take a picture of this or screenshot it. We want to get in front of as many people as possible to help them with an analysis. Once a financial analysis
are commenting on the live, asking how they can get help. This is the moment to take a photo of the QR code. They're also asking about how to they invest in the small businesses, what we need to monitor. Do you also do financial coaches of that?
Yes. We help a lot of business owners get things in order, right? It's really about what the outcome is for the desired business owner in relation to where they are. Remember, it's always about where do you want to end up and where you are, and then that part in the middle is where we add value.
Yes.
Right. So definitely business owners, reducing taxation, setting up incorporations, everything that you can imagine to help business owners get in the right direction. We definitely have a lot of value to add there too.
Hey, listen, Amon, this is very helpful for our community. I think they understood that they have to get in touch with a financial coach or with a specialist, because not every account, not every saving account it suits for the purpose that they're looking for. That's they have to go to you and your experience and all your knowledge.
It will be an honor to help. You don't know. It changed my life. Somebody helped me, and I know this works. I know having a plan gives you peace of mind when you get out of bed. I know having a plan when you wake up, you just know what you got to do. You
Yes.
don't. Life doesn't keep happening to you. You know. You wake up and you go, and not everybody around you can also participate. So if you talk to your kids about the plan, now the kids understand why you're doing things, and now the family grows together. So I strongly suggest everyone reach out. You know, and don't be afraid about what you don't know, because this is not taught in school.
No.
It's not. You know, you can go to school for business or you can start a business. The real education is getting in business, right? You can read as much as you want, but until you do it, it won't make sense. So I strongly suggest everyone take advantage of our complimentary financial analysis. It's really life changing.
And some of us learn this the hard way, huh, Lamon?
Yes. That's putting it nicely.
We want you to
Irving.
prevent that.
That's putting it nicely, right? But our kids don't have to go through that, and it's never too late to start. You know, yes, if you start later, there's gonna be some things that have to happen for you to catch up, but at least you're starting, and that's really what I want to share with everyone.
Yes.
Just start. Doesn't matter how much it is. You know, let's talk about it. Let's look at how realistically you could take that first step. Because trust me, once you take that first step in a new direction, life becomes a lot more clear. A lot of families are struggling because of finances right now, but there's money coming through, believe it or not. When you look at the spending power in many communities, Latino, African American, and most middle class, there's dollars coming through, but where is it going? Right? Where's that money going? And it should be staying with us more. So that's why getting an analysis done is so important.
Perfect. Thank you, Lamon. I'm just taking a picture of the QR code because I'm getting that survey today. Okay,
Awesome.
you do the
Awesome,
same.
brother. That's so
Thank you again. Thank you, Lamon, for your knowledge and your patience and the way you explain everything is very clear. I hope everyone got it as me. And
My pleasure, Irvin. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you all,
No,
our doctor. Thank you so much.
thanks to everyone that connected to the live stream. Remember to keep on the lookup of our social media on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Do you have social media, Lamont?
Yes. Everything should be in the QR code, but
Perfect.
on Instagram you can find me, Lamont C. Johnson 80. Same thing on Facebook. You know, my email, Lamont C. Johnson, lamontc.johnson80@gmail. So you can email me directly. But yes, I'm on all social platforms.
Thank you, Lamont, and thank you everyone again to be in the stream and be with us. And just search for the another. We see you on another live stream. Thank you, Lamont, again.
My pleasure. Thank you, Irvin.
Have a
Take
good
care.
day, everyone.